feel like the last 2 weeks, Nicole, we've been on a little bit of a friendship break.
Well, this is news to me.
Oh, did I forget to tell you?
Well, hey, say your piece. Don't I deserve a little bit of grace here?
Ah, there it is. This is episode 8 of Disengaging.
Our show recapping our spicy takes on season 3 of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I'm Nicole Nixon, coming to you this week from my in-laws' basement in snowy Idaho Falls.
And I'm Julia Ritchie, coming to you this week from Hendersonville, North Carolina, a.k.a. Western North Cackalack.
Hell yeah. Okay, we have been a bit behind.
I feel like I get this way at least once a season, now that we're in season 3, where I kind of like my interest wanes. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I'll pick it back up when things are starting to build to a head. Because, they kill time, as we mentioned in the last episode, 3 days on day 1. Dumping wine on each other's head, and it's like, okay, now get to the good stuff.
Well, we said this like 3 or 4 weeks ago that they've been in San Diego for like a month now. It's like this day 3 of this trip, but it's been like 4 episodes in San Diego. So
no kidding.
It's been hard to keep up on, but
there's also been the holidays. Let's just let's give ourselves a little bit of grace, because this is the drinking game that we came up with while watching this last episode. Is this the Utah word for sure?
I think it's definitely. I mean, it's a Christian thing. It
feels like a very Christian thing.
Yeah, but I definitely hear it in Utah a lot. And Heather's the one who's been saying it most of the time. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of drawing things out and taking forever to get to the point.
We have to start on Heather's eye, because Heather doesn't want to talk about it, but does want to talk about it, but doesn't want to talk about it, but does want to talk about it. But there have been some really great fan theories that have come out online about what happened to Heather's eye. Because it looks like she got clocked. It really does look like someone punched her in the face. Even though I've seen fan theories about allergies and Botox gone wrong. I've seen some of those, but I'm still banking on a bruise that was the result of something clashing with her eye.
I have 2 theories that I want to share. My original theory, we were texting, and my theory was they went to the club and they got all wasted, and then there's footage of Heather and Jen like flashing the camera and being really raunchy, and at one point humping on the bed. So my theory was they were both really horny at 4 a.m. and they just took a tumble, and Jen's elbow or something hit Heather's eye.
I think a stray elbow.
So that was my original theory. But then I spent today on Reddit going down theory rabbit holes. And someone pulled up screenshots of night 1 in San Diego.
That Reddit thread?
Yeah, and you can see a little purple on Heather's eye. Night 1, so that's speculation.
I did notice that like, I didn't know if it was eyeshadow or not.
Yeah, and I even mentioned that she was wearing her sunglasses that night on our last episode.
Okay, can you pull that clip with like a little like record scratch to like show that we were on it like at least 3 weeks ago, that we noticed that she was a little bit
like the sunglasses
evasive.
In the dead of night was strange. Yeah. But anyways, you can see like some slight purple under her eye that first night, and then so the theory continues that at beach day, the next day, they were playing that bubble soccer,
which looks like, honestly, talking again of adult things that are not fun, that looks not fun to me.
I would do bubble soccer, but I would not do the sandcastle contest or the gunny sack.
I would do the sandcastle contest, but not.
I would do the sandcastle contest, but you need more than 5 minutes. Yeah, that was my beef with that.
That's true.
Okay, so in bubble soccer, Dana and Heather crashed really hard, and Heather was wearing sunglasses, and they got pushed into her eye more, so that's what made the bruising a lot worse.
I know, that Reddit theory to me made the most sense, because once you look at the night 1 footage, you can kind of see like there's a bruise forming, or could be a bruise forming. And the person went on to say that like that kind of bruise is like a deep tissue bruise. And anyone who knows anything about injectables or fillers knows that bruising is a side effect of that. How do I know? Don't ask me. Okay. But no, you can get bruising from these
Right.
treatments that Heather provides at Beauty Lab.
Yeah, so it's not a surprise.
But it's like now it's like they've built it into a storyline.
Right. So
which makes it seem really controversial when it comes out that it's nothing. That seems like a real gamble, doesn't it? Do they care?
And I'm really annoyed because there's no way that Bravo doesn't know what happened, right? Like, they have cameras posted up in all these ladies' rooms. Like, there's a camera.
Well, you saw, like, even the next day when they're, like, going on the go-karts, and then they showed that the women were in the room until 4 a.m., and we didn't know that. It made it seem that they all left and then someone came back.
Yeah.
But now it seems like, no, they all came back and they all left at the same time.
And then magically she had this crazy bruise.
Yeah.
So the only way that Bravo could be surprised by this is if it just did magically develop in those, like, 7 hours because the bruise was already present. It just wasn't showing up and it hadn't, like,
the other really
purple
interesting part about the Reddit theory was that the ice pack that Jen hands her is a Beauty Lab ice pack that's meant for, like, it's a lip-shaped ice pack. So it's like a very, like, specific type of, it's not just like a pack of peas like you or I would have to bruise.
Well,
it's like, it was like a ice pack that is meant for,
it's
like,
something you get after they send
Mm-hmm.
you home with it after you get your, like, cheek or
correct.
Yes. Okay, that's a really good catch.
Yeah, I thought so too. But then I also see the side of like Twitter and fan theories where Jen was acting very quiet, and her reaction when she first comes in is not one of shock like Meredith's. It's like, oh, it got worse.
Yeah, and
her
then
reaction was more
there,
like, ooh, that looks even worse than it did last night. Whereas
right.
Meredith's reaction was like, oh my god.
Yeah. So there is the other theory that Jen punched her, and Heather's keeping silent because she wants to protect Jen because her sentencing is looming.
Yeah.
And she doesn't want her to get in trouble. She doesn't want her to, she's on probation or pretrial release. So Jen, if she's on camera assaulting somebody, that would be very bad for her with her sentencing.
Why would she punch Heather, though? They were like roughhousing.
They were roughhousing. Honestly, though,
I said, in a very bisexual way. Those two, not only is their friendship ride or die, but it's very.
I disagree with you, though. I don't think they're friends. I think Heather is. If Jen did punch Heather is being ride or die for Jen. But we've seen Jen, especially when she's drunk, like turn on a dime and get violent and throw glasses and lunge for people at her parties before. So I don't necessarily think it's out of the realm of possibility that she smacked Heather or something like that. If she
well,
said
this is
something
like
wrong.
part of maybe this episode is Jen does have quite the meltdown. She's had a meltdown all season, but it's like as the sentencing gets closer, you can just see her unraveling. And her reactions becoming more, like, toxic, more explosive. So yeah, like,
that's a good way to put it.
So I mean, but the lead up to all of this is them being drunk and stupid.
Yeah.
So my inclination is that they were doing something drunk and stupid, and she probably maybe had some pre-existing bruising, and it just made it worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Will we find out what happens to Heather's eye?
That's the other thing is I don't remember if I said this on our last episode, but I was like, it'll be 2023 before we learn what happens to Heather's eye. And I think,
does that bother you? That was my only other question.
Because the thing is, if it is nothing, like she got a little bruising from an injectable at Beauty Lab or whatever, and then it was made worse by the Jen roughhousing or the collision with
bubble
Dana.
soccer.
Yeah, then that truth will come out at the reunion, and after playing it up all freaking season, Bravo can just replay the tape of them crashing at the beach and be like, well, that's what it was. See, here's night one of San Diego and a little bit of bruising on Heather's eye. And that's what it was.
So is Heather just a terrible actress then to be like, oh, I think we all know what happened, but no one wants to talk about it?
Oh, yeah. Well, Lisa calls that out.
She's like, oh.
Like 1 minute she was like, I don't know what happened. I don't know. And you can totally tell she's lying. And then she's like, well, I think we all know what happened, but someone doesn't want to talk about it, so I'm not going to talk about it. Like, what does that even mean? She's like playing it up the mystery, which is annoying too.
Yeah, but that feels like contrived in a way that doesn't feel very natural to her, and to me reinforces the problem of this season, which is that Heather can't deal with not being the favorite anymore.
Oh yeah.
And Lisa's ascendancy as this like Wendy's shilling, peppermint frosty selling, away in a manger singing, like queen of the clapback this season is, I think, breaking a lot of their hearts on.
Yeah.
It's like no one expected Lisa Barlow to be the standout this season.
Least
and yet
of all me, but I'm definitely Team Lisa now.
Her one-liners are legend.
She told me I had mental health issues. Oh my God. No, I don't pop pills, bitch. You do.
No, this is definitely not Turks and queso. I said queso. Oh my gosh. This is not like Turks and Caicos. You know, I was hoping for like Turks and Caicos with like white sand beaches, but it's better than the frigid cold. Don't use that.
Let's talk about this SEC filing.
Okay. Did you pick it up? I did not.
I didn't. Because I'm on vacation. But I probably would have if I was at home, like in Nashville. Mm-hmm. I did think it was funny that, was it Meredith who had to explain what the Securities and Exchange Commission was to the rest of the housewives who had never heard of the SEC?
My other favorite was Angie K, who also owns a business, but is clearly not involved in the business side of it because she called in an SEC.
Yeah, she did. You're right. It was, but again, lawyer Meredith coming up to me like, no chickadees. Like, it's the Securities and Exchange Commission. And then she explains, like, you know, anytime you have money involved with investors, you have to disclose certain things about your business. And then it comes out that it's not Vita Tequila that's struggling.
Yeah.
It's this other, because she has subsidiary businesses. And I'm like, do you believe that it was just sort of like a nothing burger?
I believe it's a nothing burger. I mean, Lisa, she has multiple businesses. Like she's known for Vita Tequila. That's like her big moneymaker, but her son started a business, that Fresh Wolf. So
do they carry Fresh Wolf at Beauty Lab? We forgot to mention.
I did not see that, but I did go to. We didn't even mention this. I went to Beauty Lab during Thanksgiving and got my first facial ever.
Wait, you'd never had a facial before?
I've never had a professional facial, and I very much enjoyed it. And next time I'm in Salt Lake, I will definitely be going back.
Okay.
I also visited their new that's their new Beauty Lab location that's going up, because turns out it's right by where my sister lives. So I drove past to actually recognize the building.
That's so cool. Wait. Let's play a clip here of your
my review.
Yeah.
Hello from the Beauty Lab and Laser parking lot, where I just got my first ever facial, and you can see that glow, and you can see my cheeks are a little pink from that exfoliation. I didn't see much of the building because when she came to get me for my facial, she like took me down the side and then was like, here we go. And it was literally the first chair in the building that I saw. So I did not go back. I have no idea how big it is. It was cold in there. So, and I don't know if that's because it's a Medi spa and they are normally cold. I have no experience with these places. So, I just had my jacket kind of over me, but the facial itself was very relaxing. Like the second she like started the first cleanse, I was like, wow, it feels nice to have somebody else like touch your face and do this for you. So a nice relaxing little time. You can see my products are getting absorbed in my skin, but the glow remains. So I had a good time. I will come back and do another facial sometime. I'm never going to get fillers or butt injections or anything like that, but I'm down for a facial next time I'm in Salt Lake City. And maybe I will visit their new Riverton location and give my review there. Bye.
Was there any like sign of Heather there, like as in like a
so there's like something on the wall. It says like "Life Short by the Lips" or something like that. And then she has a merch wall. It does include Wild Rose beauty products, even though her and Whitney are fighting.
Ooh,
they're still there.
That is good intel. So she said that on the last episode. I carry your products, and you can confirm.
And I confirm that.
This is journalism right here. I just want you to be like this. This should get you a Edward R. Murrow. That you confirmed that she is in fact carrying Wild Rose beauty products at least one location of Beauty Lab. Yes.
Yeah. This is like the equivalent of door knocking.
Yeah.
And there's a few other like Real Housewives adjacent merch. Like there was a flask. I think I mentioned this in my review. It was a flask and it said, "Just like my pioneer ancestors, I'm drunk." And I saw it.
Oh, that's
and I
so bad.
Laughed.
That is.
But then I thought about it for 2 seconds, and I was like, "This makes no sense. Why would anybody buy
that? Makes no sense. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That is
that explains why there's multiple on the shelf.
Oh my god. I kind of wish you had bought one for me though, because it's so bad.
And then there was also, I couldn't tell if this was like just for display or they were selling it, but there was a shot ski in the corner, like leaning against the wall, and it was like, I think. In one of the previous seasons, they have a party at the Beauty Lab store, and they took a shot out of a shot ski at this Beauty Lab party, and that was there.
You just found like a random...
And it says like "Good Time Girl" on it.
It's like a prop.
No, it's like Heather's shot ski.
Oh
but
my god!
I don't know if like it's the actual and they have it there.
I wish you had stolen it.
I was like, is this for sale or is this like here for random shot skis? So...
It's kind of like when you go into a dying mall and you see something like that you have, it's like you're like, oh, am I supposed to be seeing this? Like,
I know. So, anyways, where were we?
No, I'm like super into your Beauty Lab review. Well, we did want to. It is relevant because I was curious when you visited if you saw any of Whitney's products because they're on a friendship break, as we alluded to. And I think friendship breaks are healthy. I mean, I've definitely gone through times with my BFFs where I've been like, I'm over it. Like, I need a break from you. Especially like, well, I don't want to like go too personal, but when your BFF is like complaining about the same guy over and over again. And so you're like, you've given them all the advice. You've been the listening ear for a very long time. And then you're like,
when it starts to take a toll on you, it's time to step back.
Yeah. And you're also just like, there's literally nothing else I can say. It's like they just need to let it run its course kind of thing. Yeah. But this is different because it just seems like, first of all, the reason Whitney is mad at Heather makes no sense.
Right.
And so that part makes me kind of frustrated. But everything she's saying about the way Heather's acting is right. Yeah. So it's very confusing. And I don't know who to root for because I feel that they're both, like, I think Heather's behavior is really toxic toward Whitney. The way she talks over her. Yeah. The way she interrupts her during that dinner.
The way she pushes her. And Whitney talks about that more. Like, she had just come out of surviving abuse, and then Heather physically shoved her. She's
shoved her, like, multiple times. All of that's really disturbing. And yet Whitney's reason for being mad, again, I'm going to reiterate, is because Heather can't remember that she also heard a rumor about Lisa boinking somebody for jazz tickets. Like, it's so stupid why Whitney's upset, yet Heather is acting like bullheaded about it.
I wonder if Whitney is conflating all of this and like fixating on the rumor as like a symbol for all these other things. And clearly, like, the rumor started it, and she was hurt that Heather was like, oh no, girl, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But then then Heather started acting all these different ways.
I think you're right.
And Whitney just sort of attached all of those to
Yes.
the rumor, and that's why maybe she's still latched onto that. But I wish that Whitney could use her words and say that instead of keep bringing up this stupid rumor that no one gives an F about.
Right. That's the thing. Is like it's clearly, you're right. It's not about the rumor. It's about
But
Heather's
but when you hear Whitney
pattern,
talk about it, it is about the rumor, which is why it's hard for people to root for Whitney fully, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. If Whitney was like, this is not about the rumor, if she just admitted it doesn't matter. Because obviously Lisa's not cheating on her husband for jazz tickets. It's not about the rumor. It's about being evasive, denying that you heard something, conveniently forgetting things that will attract you flack. Like, these are all patterns, and that's what Whitney's actually getting at, is like the pattern of behavior for Heather is that she is completely incapable of having those what we call like conscious conflicts with people, you know. But yeah, she's not saying that, so then Heather gets to be kind of like take the higher ground, but she's still acting like a bully, right?
Agreed.
I'm being silent as a mouse, so let's hear it. Like, give it all right now. Now you don't want the opportunity?
No, because
now's not the right time, so now I should talk over you.
He's still doing it right now, Heather.
Speak and say what you want to say.
I have. Okay, so it came out a week ago, maybe, that Jen has a bunch of knockoffs that a lot of her designer pieces, notably for me, that holographic Louis Vuitton backpack that she took ice fishing.
Oh, yeah.
It's fake.
It's fake.
And a bunch of her Chanel jewelry.
This came out because she was ordered by the courts as part of her
restitution.
Restitution, that's the word. She had to turn over both money and all of this stuff. But the assets were fake.
There's some real stuff, but there was a lot more knockoffs. And
did she address that at all? Like,
she unfollowed the Real Housewives of SLC Instagram account after they posted that. So she acknowledged it.
Whoa. So I'm hoping Andy will ask her about that in their one-on-one.
If he doesn't, it's bullshit.
I know. Yeah. Let's talk about reunion looks.
Let me pull up my Instagram again.
I know. It's like I have to have a reference point.
I know that for me, and it seems the entire world, the looks were much better this season than last season, which was just embarrassing all around.
Yeah. Although they were very costumey last season.
Right. Like Meredith and the feathers again. Thank God. She didn't go for that.
Whitney's
was bad.
Underwhelming. It's like this ruched silk
salmon.
Yeah, like flamingo. Zipper. Yeah, it's like hot.
I saw a comment that said it's giving like 2005 prom. And
that's what I think. It looks like a prom dress, I'll be honest. And okay, how do we feel about Angie K putting the evil eye on every single thing she wears? Is it a little overkill?
So my husband and his family are Turkish American, and the evil eye is a big part of that culture. So, you know, we have an evil eye or a couple hanging in our house, and I have a bracelet that he gave to me that I wear almost every day. So,
yeah. So is that just like part of the look?
I do like that she incorporated it into her reunion gown, like for a special occasion type thing. And I like the dress, but
I don't know. I think maybe she goes a little overboard with the evil.
Yeah, I think it's the way she has it kind of sewn into the dress as like a clasp. It's like definitely creative, and I give her points for that. But we've also seen her do it this season. Well, she did the sandcastle was an evil eye.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, okay, is this real or what?
Yeah.
I thought Heather's was really nice.
I like Heather's, but I wish she had
this
picked
one
a different pair of shoes. I don't think they kind of clash.
Oh yeah, they look kind of like fairy They're also like,
well, the gold doesn't go with the color of her dress.
it's giving old Mother Hubbard lives in a cupboard kind of shoe. I love Dana's. I was just gonna say Dana got a Vietnamese designer.
I love that,
to pay homage to her heritage, and I think the red is stunning, and the shoes are stunning,
and the cape.
Yeah, like I really enjoy.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah, I didn't know Dana was Vietnamese until I saw the reunion look. So I like that she's paying homage to that. I think that works for me.
Works for me too. For me, Meredith is the most improved from last reunion. She went from those garish blue feathers to this cinched gold velvet. I'm such a sucker for a nice velvet dress, and
I do like velvet. Yeah,
she pulls it off very well. So yes,
yeah, it's like a
chartreuse
velvet, and again, ruching is very kind. Always ruching,
very flattering.
Lisa's is very basic, but very Lisa as well. Like she's always doing that kind of.
I've forgotten Lisa's. Yeah,
it's like
she
slip
looks.
dress.
I mean, she always looks cute.
It's Gucci, so it's a Gucci white cream lacy slip dress with an exposed kind of bra. It's not ugly. It's just sort of like very Lisa.
I mean, no, she looks great. I think she could have brought it a bit more for an event like the reunion. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's white. Like it's an off-white, and so a reunion look you want like color. So it's not colorful.
Oh yeah.
And is Angie Harrington on the reunion? Oh wow, I do not like this. It's an Oscar de la Renta, but it's like it looks like she.
Looks like a collage. Yeah,
like
it looks like she glued these individual.
She went leaf peeping in the Uintas and like collected a bunch of like autumn leaves and then decoupaged them together onto a dress.
I'm having, you know what, with this dress, I'm having one of those situations where I actually kind of like the dress. Like I don't hate it, but since Angie Harrington kind of bugs me, I'm like, meh.
I know. Also, her hair is really muh with it. You know. Like it's
true.
like she hasn't this interesting dress.
She doesn't do anything with her hair.
It's
always just
very blah,
beachy waves.
Yeah. So I think you're right. I think Meredith and Heather are kind of standouts. Dana also up there, and then the rest kind of like descending order. I'm curious what Jen will wear to her one-on-one. Maybe
is that actually happening?
An orange,
has that been confirmed?
An orange
that it is
jumpsuit, something.
I know.
I don't know. Honestly, I think if I were her, I would just be saying my goodbyes to my family because she's going to jail. So,
is she going to be carted off to jail like the evening of January 6th, or is she going to have like a year or whatever to report to prison whenever she wants?
That's a good question. I wish we had a lawyer on call.
I know.
If you're a lawyer listening, please let us know when and how Jen will be serving her time.
But we will not be doing, I think it's safe to say, an emergency January 6th episode because you'll be in Costa Rica.
Yeah, so I will be away next time, so we will have to skip yet another week. I'm sorry, unless you want to do this by yourself.
No.
Just JK. You're like, I don't need a friendship break that bad. This episode of Disengaging was produced by me, Julia Ritchie.
And me, Nicole Nixon.
And don't forget to find us and rate us on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts, and help us build our own reunion looks for the reunion show. 'Cause
we should have our own little red carpet night.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Do it.
But we need a crowd fund for some.
Gucci and Oscar de la Renta off the red carpet. I love it.
Bye.
Bye. You're gonna be able to hear my dog drinking out of the toilet. Like I can hear it. Great, Ambi. Good job, Bodie. There he is.
Oh, Bodie appeared.
Bodie in the pod.
What a sweet boy.
after licking the toilet water.
Okay, well, I was going to say give him a kiss for me, but maybe don't.
No, he'll kiss me no matter what.
Oh.